All right, you guys, I'm so excited. I know you are too. I know you have your pen and paper. I want to introduce you to my friend Tara Carr. So Tara is, she'll tell you, but she's underneath Lauren Knight, which I believe she found Lauren on YouTube. And then Lauren Knight is under Lisa, and then Lisa is under me. You guys know that. So Tara is a fellow turbo lover. So we were talking about this at leadership, and she's like, remember the turbo days? Oh my God, they were so much fun. I'm like, well, I kind of have a huge turbo party every year at camp. You really want to do turbo. And I invited her to come and speak. So let me give you some stats on her. I asked her for her stats and she sent me them and they were this long. So she deserves this right now. I love how she wrote this. She wrote 15-star diamond by 25 years of age. Millionaire circle by 27, 2-time million when I was 28. 3-time elite, 1 time in the top 10, a monthly Beachbody Challenge winner, quarterly Beachbody winner, a Beachbody Challenge finalist. She's been a coach for 81 months, and she's hit Success Club for 81 months, Success Club 10 legend. And when we were brainstorming, like, what should we give the VIPs? And then I'm like looking at her stats, and I'm like, yeah, that. Let's talk about that. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your crazy busy day, because you are a busy mama, and we appreciate this. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Hopefully whatever I can share can add value. I always like to give a disclaimer. My favorite thing about this business, though, is that it's not super complex, guys. Like, honestly, like, it's not like this thing that you're going to hear where you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds so hard. I don't know if I can do that. It's like you walk away and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so simple. Like, why don't I think of it in that way? So when Kristina asked me to talk about Success Club, so I officially just hit 82 months in Success Club because I just locked it in last week. So that's where I'll start off with, is when I first joined coaching. That was the very first thing that I told myself, is I have to hit Success Club 5 by the 15th of every month. I never looked at it like I had the whole month to hit Success Club. I looked at it as my deadline was 2 weeks, because my husband was deployed. He was gone 10 months out of every year. I had 2 kids. Jonah was 2 months old when I joined coaching, and Noah, I think, was 3 in potty training, he was potty trained. He regressed whenever we had Jonah and just started pooping because he wanted to. So I was in the thick of that when I decided to become a coach, right? So I told myself, I was like, listen, I don't have a whole month to drag my feet and lock this in. Lauren told me that what builds your business is hitting Success Club, and that was all I knew. So speed of the leader, speed of the pack. If Lauren was hitting Success Club and she was successful, that's what I told myself that I had to do too. So I put on my calendar Success Club 5 by the 15th, Success Club 10 by the end of the month, because I want to factor in returns. That's the bar that I want to hit. And honestly, I just started doing that because that's what Lauren told me to do. And I know it sounds easier said than done, right? You're like, okay, well, my sponsor told me to do that, but it's not as easy for me. I try. It was just a mindset thing. Sure, I had fear. Sure, I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. But I want you to remember throughout this call that fear is a reaction, courage is a decision. So all I had to remind myself over and over is that I had to make the decision to have the courage to invite people that I didn't know. I had to have the courage to share stories that were uncomfortable for me to share. I just had to have courage, because everybody in the world has fear. But what separates you from the other people that are not going to be successful and follow their dreams or whatever it is that they want to do, that's this huge crap hole in their life, right? If you follow Sullins, you know what your crap hole is. But for me, I just had to say, okay, I need to make the decision to have courage, because I don't want to live in fear. So what does that look like, right? How do you peel back those layers? How do you hit Success Club every single month for 82 months in a row? Number one, it has evolved for me and changed throughout the last 6 years, but the one thing that's remained consistent is power hours. I always have my power hours, because I am a mom of 3 now, and I don't have a 5-hour stretch where I can just sit down and be like, oh, I'm gonna work my business for 5 hours today. I get little pockets where someone's not coloring on the walls, peeing their pants, eating crayons, or whatever it may be. I get little pockets of time, and that's still the same today. So what does my power hour look like? The number one place I start the moment I sit down and I look at my clock and I say, okay, from 9 until 10, this is my power hour, and I have to do minimally 5 power hours a week, which means guaranteed, no matter what, Monday through Friday, there is an hour spent on my business where I am just inviting. That's all I'm doing. And I'm going to my friends list on Facebook. I was devastated because for a short amount of time, they took away the friends list and they brought it back because I think a lot of us complain. So if you go onto your Facebook and it's the setting, it's the column on the left-hand side, it's going to say friends list. Every single one of you should be working off of that friends list. And it should be so specific that you know who you're targeting on that friends list. So I have my friends list for my Columbus moms that I've met in groups. I have my friends list for the people that I still met and know in Okinawa that I talk to. I have my friends list for people who once joined me and they quit and canceled on me, because guess what? They always come back. So I have my friends list for those people that I want to stay engaged with. And so what I do on that friends list is I make sure that when I click that, that becomes my newsfeed, right? None of you should be just getting on your Facebook and scrolling obsessively and be like, I wonder what my newsfeed looks like today, because it's going to look like garbage. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be full of ads. It's going to be full of sponsors from other companies. You're going to get squirrel syndrome and go down this tunnel and you're like, where did my hour go? So every time you open your Facebook app, it should be with intention. You should never open it and be like, I don't know where my time went. So when I go onto my desktop, because it has to be on the desktop to access your friends list. When I go onto my desktop and I select my friends list, I am engaging on their stuff. I'm liking their stuff. I'm commenting on their stuff. I'm saying, oh my gosh, your daughter looks so cute today, right? So it's not always about, hey, do you want to join my next upcoming fitness group? It's just building trust. For people that are going to join you and eventually be points for you, you have to have that trust there. They have to feel like they know you. It has to be easy for them to say yes to you. And the first way you do that is by building a relationship, following them, engaging with their life, caring about their life first. It's not, you're not tricking them, right? The intention is not to be like, I'm going to trick you to make you think I like you just so you'll join my challenge group. Like, you will find that you naturally become invested in these people's lives and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited your husband just came home from a deployment. Yes, I have my military wives friends list, right? There are specific things that I'm looking for so I know how to interact on their stuff. And guess what happens naturally? They start following you back. And so that's the next part that's important with hitting Success Club. What are you putting out there on social media? It can't just be a picture of your Shakeology shake every single day. It can't just be your sweaty selfie. It can't just be the things that every other Beachbody coach can post. You have to sprinkle in the things that make you unique and different and make them say, oh my gosh, her and I could be like best friends. Like, I want to go to a Britney Spears concert with her. Like, I want to go to coach camp with her. Like, whatever it is that you're posting about and talking about, you just have to be authentically yourself. You cannot worry about what other people are thinking. Allison Gannon, she's on this call. She does a beautiful job with that on Facebook Live. Like, if you follow Allison, you're either on her bus or you're not. Like, there's no like 50-50. You either know you love her or you're like, nope, don't like her, right? So like, that's how people should feel when they go to your Facebook. When people come to my Facebook, I'm not trying to be everybody's friend. Your opinion doesn't pay my bills. And so if you don't like me, peace out. Like, it's okay. But if you do like me, you're going to love me and you're going to become obsessed with me and you're going to think I'm funny and you're going to want to follow me. And some people, right, they may roll their eyes and they're like, wow, that sounds really conceited, but it's just being confident with who you are and knowing what you want to get out of life. And so if you don't know what that looks like, I encourage you to brainstorm about yourself first. If you are stuck and you're not hitting Success Club and people are not engaging on your social media stuff, it's because you're not sharing enough about yourself. And that's what you have to do in this business. You have to expose yourself. You have to breadcrumb those little stories. And it doesn't mean that you have to have like this deep, dark, secret past that nobody knew about. It's just the little stuff. And so for me, that looked like opening up and saying, hey, once upon a time, my husband and I had a shitty marriage and we had to work on that. And these are the things that we did to work on it through his deployments and not making excuses and saying, well, it is what it is. We never see each other. So eventually we'll just get divorced like everybody else. We talked about what that looked like. We talked about what personal development books we read. We talked about how we communicate now, right? Like, we shared what's working for us. And then all of a sudden people are coming to me and they're like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that because of you having the vulnerability to just share what you and Adam went through, that my marriage looks completely different. I want to thank you for that. And guess who that person was to sign up for my next fitness challenge group, that girl who was following me on social media, who thanked me for helping her in her marriage. So you have to help them with something first. And you do that by sharing little stories about yourself. And then second, take it behind closed doors. So what are you offering people for free? My most favorite part about this business is not when I sign someone for a challenge pack. My most favorite part about this business is that I don't feel the pressure like I have to sell someone. I honestly don't ever feel like I'm in a sales business. I don't. I genuinely feel like I'm in a business of just helping, of just being honest, of just being real, of just having like my own little reality TV show, I guess, is if that's what you want to call it. Like, I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of what I want to share, but I'm in control of how I help people and what I'm passionate about. And so I have my revolving groups that are free that I run every single month. And some of them are just continuous where I can add people in whenever I want. There's no like set date and end date. And one of those would be just talking about living a more holistic life, right? So what does that look like for us? So when I talk about chemicals, and I like to use like earthy crunchy cleaners, and I like to make elderberry gummies, and I like to just whatever, like just live that kind of different life and teach people how to read labels. I don't want to charge people for that. That's too messy for me. Like, it's my passion to be able to talk about that for free. So when someone comes on my page and they're like, hey, I heard from my friend that you taught her how to read labels or how to get your kids to eat more vegetables or sneak it into their food, can you help me more with that? I'm like, sure, girlfriend, come into our group. And so I'll put her into my free group. So there's no pressure, right? I didn't have to sell her on anything. She didn't have to think that she was being sold on anything. She's like, wow, okay, yeah, I'll go into your group. So she comes into my group, and then she learns from me organically. Of me just posting in there, she's learning from other moms who she's like, wow, I like all these other moms. We all kind of seem like we're alike. We're all on the same journey. We're all trying to help our kids. No one's trying to sell anyone on that. So they start following other people in that group, right? But we're all the same avatar. If you've heard Sullins talk about that avatar, like, what is your avatar? It's who you are. It's literally like you replicate yourself. That's who you're looking for out there. So I think of, who do I want in these groups? I think of my old me, my old self. I think of the girl who didn't even know what a GMO was. I think of the girl who felt overwhelmed when I had my son and I didn't know what to feed him and I didn't know what dyes were. And why are there 15 different diaper options? Are any of them bad for them? Like, I just think about like all the questions that I had, and that's the mom that I talk to on social media. Or I think of the military wife who was just so stressed out that sometimes cried herself to sleep and was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this for another day. I forgot to feed my kids yesterday and I feel like an awful mother. Like, those are the things that I would think about, right? And so I'm like, I got to talk to that mom and teach them how I got a system of remembering how to feed my kids. Like, some of you might laugh, but that's a real thing in the military community. Like, you just get so worked up and wrapped up that you're like, yeah, my kids ate cereal for dinner 3 nights in a row and I feel like crap. So I just had to talk to that person. And as I started talking to that person, but I sprinkled in my Beachbody journey, and I wasn't quiet about it. I wasn't shy about it. I was very, and still am, very much in your face, because I don't have to apologize about it. It's like, this is who I am. This is what I love to do. I hope you'll get on my boat. I hope you'll join me. I hope you come with me because I love my team. I'm very passionate about what I do, and people are either they're going to get on your boat or they're going to get off your boat. So what are the things that you can do that can talk about Beachbody but not in an obnoxious, like, salesy way? Number one, I hope you're talking about every single month what you're earning towards the upcoming trip, even if you're not registered yet. That was a game changer for me when I joined Beachbody, because we were broke. We were $35,000 in debt. My husband was an E5 in the military, so if you know salaries, we weren't making a lot of money. We were living overseas, which cost a boatload of money to even just live over there. And COLA was not helping us make up the difference for that. And when I signed up, I found out that you could earn a free trip to Disney. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to take my kids to Disney. We can't afford Disney. Like, that would be incredible. And so every single month I would get an email from Beachbody, and it was like, congratulations, you've earned $80 towards your Beachbody trip. And I did the math and I was like, okay, if I hit Success Club 10 every single month, not only will I pay off this Beachbody trip, but I'm going to get $1,000 bonus too. Like, I'm totally doing this. And so I went public about it. And I said, you guys, I am, like, if you see me pouring my heart and soul into helping people with their health and fitness, it's because I just set a goal for our family that I want to take our kids to Disney for free. And when I mean for free, I mean I want to earn it. I want to work really hard for it. So that's what I would talk about every single month when I would get this report update, is I would celebrate whether I got $20 towards my trip or if I got $80. And then when I finally got the email that I got this trip, that everything was paid for, and then I posted pictures of being on this trip, I signed one of my top coaches, Amy Allen, who messaged me, and she was like, girlfriend, I want to go to Disney for free. And I was like, okay, sure you do. But she earned her trip to Disney for free within 6 months because she saw me posting about it. And so the little things that you share with people that they don't even know that's happening with Beachbody, rather than you just not talking about it at all year and then being like, hey, I'm on this trip and it's so great. They don't know what you did to get there. And so in a way, you can do it where you're thanking the people every single month. You know, hey, if you've trusted me this month, if you've invested in me this month, if you're in one of my fitness groups this month, I just want to thank you, because our family is one step closer to going on vacation this year to fill in the blank, right? Whatever it is that Beachbody is doing. And don't think to yourself, well, I can't post that because I missed the boat. You know, I didn't get to register because I wasn't a Success Club Legend or All-Star or whatever. Talk about how you're going to earn as much as you can because you have faith and hope that you're going to get off the wait list, because I promise you, so many people get off the wait list. So when you finally get off the wait list, people aren't going to think there's just this magical thing that you got invited to that you didn't know about. They're going to know that you put your heart and soul in something without the guarantee that it was even there, right? You've got to show people that you're jumping. It's like blind faith, and you're just hoping you're going to fly on your way down, right? So talk about those little things. The next thing I do is I advertise my groups 2 weeks in advance. So I never just like say, hey, I'm running a challenge group, join me today. People know on a very strict call to action timeline when my cutoff date is to join me, and it's 2 weeks in advance. And then my last call is 72 hours before I close my doors, because I want to make sure people have ample time to get their products in. I always want to make sure there's that good customer service experience. And then that first week of my challenge group is always prep week. That way, in case someone's package was delayed, again, it's a good, positive customer experience. And I'm always making sure that I'm writing thank you notes. So anytime someone joins me, it's a handwritten note of telling them thank you, because I noticed in my second year of coaching that the people who I sent a thank you note to, I had a much longer retention rate of them staying on Shakeology versus me not doing that. So think about what makes you feel special, right? Because whoever you're attracting into your business is probably exactly how you'd feel. So I don't know about you, but when I get a letter in the mail, I am like a kid on Christmas morning. I'm like, oh, someone wrote me a letter. Like, I cry. Like, I get so excited. So if you ever want to know how to make my day, just like write me a letter. You can even just say, hi, and I'll cry. So think about that though, right? Like, what makes you so excited? Like, what is it that is it a text message? Is it a phone call? Like, whatever it is that gets you excited, do that for your customers, because if you're attracting someone just like you, then that's what they're missing in their life, and that's what they want from you. Most people that join me, honestly, they don't join me because they want to buy Beachbody on demand. They don't join me because they want to buy Shakeology. They join me because they see that it's something that's missing from their life. They see that there's this group of women that are lifting each other up, that are supporting one another, that are going on trips, that have girlfriends for the first time in their life, that have an identity outside of being mom or a military wife, and that they just see someone doing something that they love and that they're making an impact, and they're able to provide from their family from home. And they want a piece of that. They want a piece of the sisterhood. That's what they want. But they know in order to get it, they have to get it through me, right? Because they want to be a part of my tribe. It's not just any tribe. It's my tribe that they're following. And so what is it that people want to be a part of when they're following you? And if you're saying to yourself right now, like, well, nothing. I'm kind of boring. I don't really know anyone would join me. You've got to do personal development. I highly recommend the Energy Bus to start first if that's the first thought process that you're having. But you just have to brain dump. You just have to take out a piece of paper, and you have to just start filling out all the things that come to your mind, right? Anything. It could be something from like when you're a child or whatever. And then look at that piece of paper and say, why did I write that down? Is there a story that I could share about that thing that I wrote down on social media? And if so, what is it going to teach people? Is it going to teach people to not care about what bullies think? Is it going to teach people to believe in themselves? Whatever it may be, it's just going to teach them something. And so don't overthink it. Just share it. So minimally, I want you sharing 3 stories a week. And I know that sounds like a lot at first, but you've got to start there. 3 mini stories. It can be something funny that your kids did that day, whatever it may be, but get people engaged with something to do with your life. The next thing is revisit old conversations and get them on the phone or Facebook audio. I will be completely honest with you that the first probably 4 years of my business, I built it by being on the phone with people or being face-to-face on a coffee date. I hate text messages. I really can't stand it. I don't even like Facebook messages because I just feel like it's so cold and I can take tones wrong. And so like if you know me or you work with me, you're probably going to get a phone call from me or you're going to get an audio. And I'll always say like, hey, sorry, I'm audioing you, but I just love it. Like I'm obsessed with it because I love hearing people's voice. I love if I can hear the defeat in it. I love if I can hear the happiness in it. I feel like I can always tell so much more with someone's voice on what's going on, or if they're hiding something from me and I feel like I need to pull more out of them, like whatever it may be. But I also feel like it just feels like a more intimate conversation. And so I know not everybody likes to hop on the phone, and that's where Facebook audio rocks my socks. And it really kind of has taken over the phone conversations with my forming with people is I will shoot them a quick audio. And I have it saved on my phone. So this is a work smarter, not harder tip. If you have an iPhone, you can save your audio messages in your phone to where they're generic, and then you just upload that on Messenger. So you don't have to make the same audio over and over again. So I have about 15 audios that I have labeled that I know are always kind of very generic follow-up audios with certain people, and I know when to just upload those and shoot those over. And then eventually the conversation always gets to a point where I take over in real time as myself, and I start asking more specific questions with them. So what questions are you asking them? Always keep the ball in your court when you are forming someone and you're talking on audio, or if you are not comfortable with that yet and you're doing Messenger, keep the ball in your court and always leave your message with a question at the end, because that gives you permission to always follow up without being annoying. So for instance, like if my last thing that I'm saying to someone is, how would you rate your fitness on a scale of 1 to 10? If she doesn't reach back out to me, I can say, hey girl, I'm not sure if you got my last message, but I know that you reached out to me and you were wanting help for my next upcoming health and fitness group. And I really just have a list of questions that I like to go through and ask people to see if we're a good fit to work together and what areas you're struggling with, so I know if it's something that I can help you with. So I never go into it like super confident or cocky where I'm like, hey, I know I can help you. I know everything. I'm always like, I want to see if we're a good fit. I want to see if I can help you. And then that way they'll share their problems with me. What are they going through that they feel like they're not getting help with? And then I can confidently say either yes or no, I don't feel like I can help you. And I'll be totally honest with you, there are some people where I've had to say, I don't think I can help you, because they tell me they have like 76 diseases. Their big toe hurts every time they work out. They are allergic to 97 things, and like the doctors know what's going on with them. They've done everything, and I'm just like, let's start with water. Can you go in one of my challenge groups? Let's just start drinking water and we'll go from there. But like, I don't want to take that person's money, because I can tell that person has spent their money everywhere and they say that nothing works. And so I don't want their money, because I know it's going to mean a return for me, and I don't want to deal with the negative success club points. And so we start with water. And if I can help them with water, and then we can go into something else where I'm like, hey, instead of eating mashed potatoes every night, why don't we try broccoli, right? Like if I can get them to do the little stuff, then I know I can eventually get them to go into one of my successful challenge groups. But you don't have to sell everyone. Some people are meant to just stay in your free groups. Some people are meant to just be your cheerleaders on social media, and that's okay. You need people that are going to comment on your stuff, that are going to support your stuff. It doesn't mean you write them off just because they won't join you. My next thing is, and this is important, but I don't think it's the end all be all, be proof that our products work. You can't just talk about Beachbody or what we do and not actually believe that what we do works. And so what do I mean by that, right? We're all human. I think we all go through different stages in life where you may be someone that suffers from emotional eating, right? So you may have your months out of the year where you're just like so fit, you look so great. And then your other months where you're crying watching This Is Us and you ate 2 things of ice cream and you're like, why did I just do that? I don't even want to tell people about that, right? But the more you're honest with people and you tell people about that, they're like, girlfriend, me too. I did the same thing. Let's kick that habit together, right? So just because you're a coach doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you never can make a mistake with your fitness. I have been very brutally honest with people throughout my journey in this to tell them in the very beginning. The reason why I was 65 pounds overweight is because I hated working out, duh, like, or else I wouldn't have been 65 pounds overweight. I was an emotional eater. And so I was very honest with people as I went through that journey kind of throughout the years. And so when I say be proof that the product works, I just mean give it your best, right? So commit to a program, see it through. Don't be one of those people that every other month you're like, I'm doing P90X. No, I'm doing Insanity. No, I'm doing Turbo Fire, just because you can't stick with something. Because if you do that, people are going to think that our programs don't work because you didn't stick to it. So if you have yet to complete one of our programs from start to finish and have a before and after that you can post, and it doesn't mean it has to be a transformation where you're like, I lost 5 or 6 pounds. It just means, what can you talk about during that experience from start to finish? What can you say happened? What transformed? Was it a mindset thing for you? Was it an endurance thing for you? Did you feel like you had more strength? Do you feel like you started waking up earlier, like you just got better habits? What did that look like for you? Walk people through that journey. It doesn't always have to be physical. A lot of it can be mental, but you've got to have one program where you've started it from start to finish. And when you do that, you will find that naturally it becomes your program. It becomes the thing that people start to join you for. So in the beginning of my business, for the first couple of years, people only bought Turbo Fire from me when we did not have Beachbody On Demand. Legit, if Beachbody could crunch my numbers, I think you'd find that the only program I sold was Turbo Fire, because I was a Turbo girl and I became a Turbo Fire cast member and I became obsessed with talking about Shalene and Turbo. So it's whatever program is your jam, right? When people think of this program, they think of you and they want to do it because of your journey. So pick that program, share about it, make your sweaty selfies. Like, I know some people say, like, never post a sweaty selfie. I love sweaty selfies. As long as it's sharing a story, as long as you're sharing with people what you're learning as you're going through this workout about yourself or what you're proud about with yourself, then it's okay to share a sweaty selfie as long as you're taking people through that journey. The other thing is too, is that remember that Success Club doesn't always just have to come from Shakeology, right? Talk about what other things we have. If you had people ordering something that's 90 PV on HD, you're getting Success Club points for that. So what else does Beachbody have to offer aside from Shakeology? I think people forget that we have so many other continuity products. So make sure you're talking about those things and that you're not just living, eating, and breathing just Shakeology. Offer referral incentives. So whenever you do your challenge groups and you have someone that's purchased from you, and let's say they are loving it 2 weeks in, make a call to action post and say, hey, XYZ, fill in the blank, I can see that you're doing so well with this program. I have a challenge for you. If you post on social media, your current, where you're at right now, where were you before this group? How are you feeling now in this group? And you can get one of your friends to join us, and you can refer someone to me that I'm going to give you fill in the blank XYZ. Sometimes I'm giving away an hour one-on-one consultation when I'm working more in depth with people. Sometimes I'm giving away gift cards to Target, like whatever it may be. I'm offering an incentive for someone to give me a referral. And you would be amazed at how many people do not want to be a coach. And that's okay. I think I need to say that again. That's okay. Not everybody is meant to be a Beachbody coach. Some of my best people that I have in challenge groups are my lifers, my customers that have been with me for over 6 years, have sent me some of the most amazing coaches in my organization, and it's because they just don't want to coach. And that's okay. So you have to learn that not everybody was made to be a Beachbody coach. The next thing is, Sorry, I'm taking notes because I was just telling Allison before this call, I've had major squirrel syndrome today. It's been like a total cray day. So I was like, I need notes today. When you set out to hit Success Club, I think it's an important disclaimer to say, it's okay to talk about money in this business. If you followed me in the beginning of my journey in this business, I didn't talk about money at first because I was so insecure with myself. I was so terrified that if I even said anything about having a paycheck, that people were going to think that I was just selling them something, that their challenge pack was just a quick sale for me or whatever it may be, when I knew that that wasn't the case. And so it really frustrated me that, like, I let that hold me back for so long until I saw Lauren posting about her income and people commenting on it and be like, oh my gosh, girl, congratulations. That's so inspiring. That makes me want to be a coach. We want to get out of debt. And I finally just had to say, like, screw it. I'm going to talk about my income. And so as I started talking about my income, I realized more and more there were people out there that wanted what I had in my life. They were just terrified to do it, right? And so if you're not talking about your income enough, and I don't mean in that icky way where you're like, hey, I slept and made $100 in my sleep, right? Like, I'm talking about like the brutal, honest truth of like, hey, this is hard work, but I love doing it. I love waking up. I love working with my challengers. I love that I got to bring my husband home from the military 12 years early, and I get to wake up beside him every morning. Like, I love the hard work, but also this is how much I've been able to make through doing that. But you don't just wake up one day and share the big paycheck. You have to learn to start sharing where you're at, and you cannot let ego hold you back. And that was something that really held me back in the beginning, because I played the comparison game. I think we all do that. I can remember following Scotty Hobbs, and Scotty and I joined a week apart in this business. And I remember I had just made my first $1,000 week, and I was so excited. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to post about this. Like, this is crazy that I made this from working from home. And like, it just like blew my mind. And then I saw in my newsfeed Scotty Hobbs post how he had his first $3,000 week. And I instantly was like, I suck. I suck so hard. Why do I suck so bad? How did Scotty just have a $3,000 week and I only had a $1,000 week? Like, I can't post this. And I just went into this comparison game until I learned that we can't all do that, right? Because my beginning chapter is going to look way different than Scotty Hobbs. And I learned that Scotty Hobbs got a business transfer spot from Lindsay's brother. And so he got the highest spot in her organization. So of course Scotty was going to be making more money than me, because he went into a spot that already had existing volume. And I was in a place where I was building both legs. So we can't get into that comparison game. We can't look at other coaches and be like, oh my gosh, they're so much better than me, or I should be doing something different. Because number one, we don't know what their organization looks like, right? We don't know what kind of volume we're getting. We don't know if they had a transfer spot. And no matter if they did or they didn't, it doesn't matter, because we're not here to compete with other coaches. We're here to compete with ourselves. And so I had to get into this mindset where it was me versus me. All I wanted to make sure that I did was that I beat myself. And I started setting goals where I said, all right, Tarah, in 4 weeks, you're going to make $1,200 a week. And then in 3 months, you're going to make $1,700 a week. And that's all I did, was I set goals to beat myself. And by doing that was making sure I hit Success Club every single month. And so minimally, I wanted to like not just touch 5 lives a month. I wanted to change 5 lives a month. And lives can't be changed in 30 days. So just when you hit Success Club with a person, it's not got you and I'm gone, right? Some of my people that hit me like Success Club, I still work with them to this day, because their journey's not finished and they still need me in their life, and they still need me to check in on them, and they still need me to give them marriage advice, right? I still go to people that I need in my life. And so there's never this point in your business where you're just going to be like, bam, done, I'm a rock star. You always should be growing and evolving, but it starts with hitting Success Club every single month and putting your intentions out there, not being afraid to say, these are the big goals that I have in my business, celebrating when you hit them. And it might be gibberish to the people that are following you on social media. They might be like, I don't even know what Success Club means. So explain it to them. Explain when you post a picture of someone's face that just joined your business and say, this beautiful soul just joined my team. I'm so excited that, she's got XYZ goals to achieve. She just helped me lock in Success Club for the month. I can't wait to see what she's going to do with her own business or her own journey or whatever it may be. But you're planting those seeds already for that person to become a successful coach, because what are they going to do? They're going to do exactly whatever you're doing, just like I had to do exactly whatever Lauren was doing. Because when I joined this business, none of us really, to be honest, knew what we were doing. We just didn't. I said to Lauren, what do I do? And she's like, go Emerald, baby girl. And I'm like, all right, how do you do that? She's like, you sign up 2 people. First day, I was like, done. Don't be too impressed. It was my husband and my mom. And I didn't ask either of them really for permission. I just did it for Adam and assumed he'd drink his Shakeology when he got back from Afghanistan. And then with my mom, I was like, give me your social. So it wasn't anything magical, right? So I went on my first day and I was like, what do I do next? And she was like, hit Success Club. So I signed up my first real customer on Shakeology, because at the time you had to sign a Shakeology to get a Success Club point. And that's all it was. And I hit Success Club 5. And I was like, what do I do now, Lauren? She's like, go for 10. So that's what I did. And as soon as I did that, I just repeated to myself, if I can do it once, I can do it again. And I kid you not, Every new month that starts over, I freak out. And the first hits, and I'm like, this is going to be the month. This is the month that I break my streak. I can see it now, 83 months, and it's gone. And I have to quickly snap out of it. And I'm like, you can't talk to yourself like that. You've got to tell yourself that this month is going to be no different than all the other 82 months that you've hit Success Club. You're just going to pour into people. You're going to beat yourself on social media. You're going to try to make people laugh, and you're just going to help people. And that's all you're going to do. And so as much as I wish I could tell you that I have this secret SaaS blueprint and this magical ads list that's going to send thousands of people your way, and you're going to be one of those coaches that hits like 300 Success Club points a month, that was never me. I am like the tortoise and the hare, but when it comes to Success Club, I'm the tortoise, but I'm consistent. I am just literally like every single month, I'm like, all right, got my Success Club. I'm helping people, and it's made me over $2 million in this business. So it works, right? It works. Whatever it is that you want to do for yourself, don't think you have to hit 200 Success Club points a month. And I'm not dogging anyone who does. I think that's awesome. Some months I'm like, I bang my head against the wall. I'm like, how do they do it? How do they keep up with all those people? Where are they finding these people? But I know me, and I've got to stay in my lane, and I've just got to focus on the people that I know that I can help and the people that I know that I can serve, and just stay there. So I challenge you tonight. I don't care how late it is. Your mind's fresh. It should be churning with ideas. I challenge you to do your brain dump. I want you to put on some sort of inspirational music. I don't even care what it is. If it's Eminem, go for it. But brain dump on your piece of paper. Start writing whatever it is that comes down to mind. And then I want you to look at those things and say, okay, what are the first 3 stories I'm going to share on social media this week? And that's it. And find a Success Club partner and say, hey, girlfriend, I want to share this story. If you read this story on your newsfeed, what would you take from it? And tell them, be brutally honest with me. You need to have someone in this business that's going to be brutally honest because they love you and they want to support you. And you cannot have your feelings get hurt in this business. You just can't. Some of my Allie Upham, love her to death. She was my Success Club partner for a year. We would go through this all the time, and she'd be like, baby cakes, I've got this story. I think it's great. What do you think about it? And I was like, love you, Allie, but I think it's lame. Like, I don't know. And she's like, what? I worked on that for an hour. And I'm like, let's work on it some more, But you need somebody like that in your life. And then I needed people to tell me sometimes when my stories just stopped. They're like, I don't get it. I don't know why you told me that. And I feel like I just wasted 5 minutes of my life. And I was like, shit. So you've got to have people like that in your life that are just going to be real and raw and honest with you. But that's what I want you to do tonight. Just 3 stories. I want you to find 3 stories that you're going to share on social media. And then I want you to create your friends list. You need to have at least 5 categories. We all have 5 different types of people that we're pleasantly stalking on social media because we have hopes and dreams that that person's going to join us. And genuinely, follow them because you want them on your team. Don't follow them just because you think they're going to be an easy Success Club point. I've done that before. I've signed up people because I knew it was an easy sell for me, and they became a pain in my ass. And because we weren't the same, we just weren't the same. We just butt heads. They didn't agree with my life. They didn't agree with the way I talked. They didn't agree with my religion. They didn't agree with anything. But I was just like, oh, they're an easy sell. And then it didn't work. It just was more stress. So find people that are going to be in your energy bus. Find people that are going to be in your bubble. Find people that you're going to enjoy life with. Think about the people where you're like, I would love if I went to coach camp with that person and we spent 4 days together in a hotel room. That's who I look for. I want someone that I would be excited to room with if I go on a trip. So find those people. It's not, like I said, a super crazy master plan, but it works for me. It's what I've done, and I enjoy doing it, and I get excited when I wake up when I get to do it. So if you guys have any questions, I don't know if it's cool with Kristina. I'm cool to open it up if you've got anything that you guys want to ask me, but go for it if you do.
Yeah, just unmute yourself, you guys. I think you can. And ask away.
And no question's a stupid question. I feel like I always have to do that.
Sullins says smart people ask questions.
Mm-hmm. I like how we always just quote Shalene. It's like Shalene is Yoda.
I always think when I'm in like a turmoil situation, I'm always like, what would Shalene do? I'm not even kidding you. And that's the decision I make.
I I know. Anybody? Nobody has a question? Kate, I saw you raising your hand. Go for it.
Do you feel that you get the most coaches recruitment from inside of your groups or outside from your posts?
I would say that the most people that I sign up are people who are following me for about 3 months from my Facebook Live videos. And I think it's because they feel like we've known each other forever. Because if you ever go and you watch one of my live videos, I'm not talking to a big group of people. I'm using specific words like, hey friends, so excited to see you here. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you this. I'm not talking to a million people. I'm talking to one person. I learned that from Shalene. I'm pretty much sure. I think I learned like 90% from Shalene. But I just talked to that one person. So when they're watching my live videos and I'm saying things like you and girlfriend and oh my gosh, they literally think we're in a conversation. So when they follow me on Facebook Live routinely over and over and over, after 3 months, they're like, when I go live and I'm talking about one of my fitness groups, they're like, yep, that's me. I'm sold. I know this girl well enough. I feel like we're best friends. I can't wait to work with her in a closed setting because I've already learned so much from her in a public setting. And so I guess that's another tip too, is that you can't have a scarcity mindset in this business. You can't think like, oh my gosh, I've got this like great, glorious tip, but I'm only going to give it to my people who join my challenge group. I literally try to share my heart to the world as much as I can. And then in that closed group, it's not about what secret things I can teach them. It's more about the private relationship I can build with them. And my goal in that group is to pull more out of them. What can they share with me now that they feel like they're behind closed doors, that they wouldn't share with me publicly on a Facebook Live when I say like, okay, come at your biggest fear. I know you all have one. I'm going to tell you mine, spiders. And then I go into it, right? So it might not seem like it's this like super deep, dark secret I'm talking about when I'm talking about spiders. Sometimes I won't get any comments. But then in my challenge group, I talk about share your deepest dark fear. All of a sudden, it's like books. And I'm like, why didn't you guys share that when you were on my Facebook Live? And I'm like, I'm not going to talk about that publicly. So for me, like my groups are more about getting more out of them and not so much like this super secret template of what I'm going to teach them. It's just that relationship that starts to build behind closed doors, if that makes sense.
That's really good.
Anybody else?
Right. Do you guys really want me to ask your questions for you?
I have a question.
I don't know who said that, but go ahead.
Kristina, can you see me?
Oh, I can see you. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, can't wait to see you.
I know. I'm excited.
Okay, so here's my question. I've always had such an issue with sharing struggles. I'm getting a lot better at it, I think, especially now that, I don't know, for anybody that doesn't know, my house burned down right before Christmas and we lost everything. And to be honest, it's like the best thing that's ever happened to me because I finally had the Christmas that I wanted. It really brought my family so much closer and gave me a platform to really speak from the heart, from a positive standpoint, and really share a testimony in a such an uplifting way that so many people, I just gained so much traction, like unbelievably, because we were homeless for a month. We stayed in a hotel and I shared the journey. I video recorded the inside of the house, but I never wanted to come across in a boohoo way, like poor me, feel sorry for me. And that was always such a conflict because I wanted to take advantage of that opportunity to share with other people what the true spirit of Christmas was all about. And why, for the first time, I felt like this was the best Christmas I'd ever had because of the genuine connections that I made with people out there that felt sympathy for me. And the thing of it is I cringe when I feel like people pity you. And it's like, and when people come up and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear. And then they try to give you comforting words. And I get that for some people, it makes them feel good to do that. But I cringe because I'm not looking for comfort. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for pity. I'm looking to be that uplifting, spirit for you guys that are like drudging through the day, like, oh my God, I can't make it to class today because I have this and this and this excuse. Well, you know what? The week after my house burned down, I showed up to teach class. And I'm like, you know what? This is what keeps me grounded and keeps me sane and keeps me connected with the world, that I have this responsibility and it makes me feel good. And so it's like in the back of my mind, I'm constantly like questioning myself, like I'm going through all the scenarios of what people are thinking. Oh my God, how could she? Or, oh my God, you know what I mean? And it's like, to be honest with you, I've gained 10 pounds since my house burned out. I'm struggling to get the weight off, but I'm still showing up as often as, not every single day. And when I share, it's hard because I get that icky feeling of people like that want to preach to me. And it's like, look, I don't need you to preach to me. I'm just exposing myself to humanize my situation. No, I'm not invincible. No, I don't look hot all the time. No, I'm kidding. But it's like, I'm feeling like this is starting to peel back those layers that I'm like fighting to be vulnerable. But at the same time, my ego gets in the way because I don't want people seeing me as, oh, well, they can start giving me advice.
My advice to you.
Yeah.
Number one, and I've learned this from Bo Eason, and I'm trying so hard, Kristina, not to have profanity on this call, so I hope you're really proud of me. Bo Eason taught me, like, if you're worrying about things, the first thing that you say to yourself is like, well, what are people going to think? He's immediately like, who the F cares what people think? You literally, the moment I would worry about, like, well, what is my mom gonna think? If my mom hears me talk about a story about how I used to sleep in the basement with the door locked because I was terrified of my own family, like, what is my mom gonna say, right? Like, I would freak about these things. And Bo was like, and this was so profound, and this stuck with me. So if you're dealing with this, if your story is like, I don't feel like I can share my story because it's like attached to my family or whatever it may be. And I'll tie back to what I mean by this with the fire. But when it came to me, it was always about like my family. So I was like, oh gosh, like I have all my family that follows me, and my mom and I are cool now. Like I forgave my mom and all this stuff. Is Bo was like, people should have thought about that when they made the decision to treat you like that. And so when they treated you like that, it's your story. And so it's your right to share it. Nobody has the right to take that away from you. And people who truly love you will allow you to share that story as long as you're sharing it in a way that teaches other people something. And it's not just a boo-hoo, look at me, feel sorry for me, and I'm going to talk trash about these other people because I'm mad at them for what they did to me. So I never, when I get the opportunity to be on a stage or go live on social media, take that as an opportunity to tear my family down. I'm actually very cautious with my words. I'm very careful with how much I share because I feel a lot of it is just filler, and I don't need the sympathy, and I don't need people to say like, oh my gosh, how terrible, I feel so sorry for you, right? What I want people to get from that is that, number one, you always have the power to forgive people because it's your choice. And number two, it's your story. And you're either going to be an overcomer or you're going to be someone who stays stuck in that situation, who stays stuck in that fear, who always walks on eggshells because you still feel like that little girl living in your house with a locked basement door. And so when I would start to share those stories, and this epiphany and this aha moment was, I'm not that little girl anymore. I have a voice for myself, and I can stand up for myself, and I'm not going to let anybody ever walk all over me again or lay a hand on me or whatever it may be. Like, I am my own story. And so when it comes to even your house, for example, don't be afraid to open up a Facebook Live video and say, hey, listen, I'm going to share with you a story today where your first reaction might be to be like, girlfriend, I'm so sorry for you, but don't feel sorry for me. I don't need your sympathy. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I hope what I can share with you today is what you're going to learn from me, right? Whatever it is that I have to share. And I had to say that so many times while building this business, because the stories that I would share at times were hard. They were heartbreaking. Where Noah would be fearful that his dad was going to come home in a box like his Uncle Jeremy, because we just buried Adam's best friend from his team in Afghanistan. And when I would share these moments where I couldn't pick myself up off the ground because I would literally be crying so hard and just in fear and anxiety, but then I just had to make a decision that I wasn't going to have self-pity. I wasn't going to live in fear. I wasn't going to ask myself the what ifs every single day. I was just going to make a decision to get up because my kids were watching me. And so when I would share stories like that, I would say, I don't want your sympathy. All I want is for you to pray for me and not take today for granted. Because like you said, when my house burning down was one of the greatest things that actually happened for me, because it taught me not to take the little things for life for granted and to show me what was really important. Adam and I really struggled with that, because when Jeremy died, it was really hard on all of us. And for me, as much as I love Jeremy and as much as I miss Jeremy and as much as he did for our family, what he opened my eyes to was that I spent so much life worrying about things that didn't matter, complaining about things that I shouldn't have been complaining about, not taking, for granted the little time that I would get without him anymore, and literally just cherishing every moment that I got to just hug him. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that gift that he gave us for when he was alive and how much life he brought into this world. And just as much as we miss him, it's this reminder that tomorrow's not promised. We could lose a loved one that we love today. And so what are we doing today to make sure that everyone that we love knows that we love them, and that stupid shit doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. And so when it comes to my kids' birthdays, when it comes to Christmas, when it comes to whatever, I know I'm being a good parent when my kids don't care about gifts. When I say to my kids, what was your favorite part about Christmas? And they say, just being with the whole family. Today was the best day ever because we had dad home. Like, those are the things that make me be proud as a parent, that I share on social media, that Adam and I are just grateful for as parents, that our children know the true meaning of Christmas, or that they don't care about materialistic things. And look, I'm not saying we're perfect. We've gotten caught up in that. There was a phase in my business where we had money we didn't even know what to do with, because we don't come from money. Adam and I, both of our families, did not come from money at all. So when we got money, I was like, let's buy 15 Michael Kors watches. I don't know why. I didn't even like Michael Kors. I didn't even know who he was until I joined Beachbody. So it was dumb stuff, right? Where I was just like, you have to learn through that stuff. But those were the stories that I started to share. I was like, hey, you know that song where they say, like, make more money, have more problems? That was me for a short period of time, because I just did dumb stuff. But it's the same thing like with your house. But you've got to find a way to turn those stories into, now how can I get someone to trust me and join me because of that? And that's asking them questions to reflect on their own life. So whenever you're going live or whenever you're making a post, I think my favorite sentence that I always people is, so let me ask you this. I always start with that. So let me ask you this. When was there a time in your life where you woke up one day and you asked yourself, what am I doing? Right? What am I doing? Am I wasting every single day that I'm given? Am I spending enough time with my kids? Am I worrying about things that don't matter? Like, when you ask those people questions out loud to think about their own life, even if they don't respond to your post right away, I promise you, they are responding to you in their head. And they're like, you know what? I just asked myself that last week. What am I doing with my life right now? Is it meaningful? Is it impactful? Am I helping people? Do I feel like I'm living a life of purpose? Like, what is it that I'm doing? And so they might not answer you right away, but eventually they'll answer you on one of your call to action posts. But you have to always be out there giving people that call to action to think about their own life. And you do that by sharing yours. And honestly, even if people are rolling their eyes at you, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's like, what is it going to matter if they roll their eyes at a story that you share, or they think that you're trying to have sympathy, or they think that you're trying to share stories to build your business? I once had someone accuse me that it hurt deeply in the very beginning. Trust me, I had a girl accuse me that was a part of my team, who was one of my Fallen Diamond coaches. She couldn't get back up in her business because she wasn't consistent. She was making a million excuses. So because her people, she attacked me and said she uses Jeremy's death to build her business, because I decided to honor Jeremy's life and share with him something that our son asked me that did change my life, that made me question what the hell I was doing, because I wasn't giving my all in my business. I wasn't giving my all in my life. I was dabbling. It was fun. It was a hobby. I decided when I was feeling up to working. But then when that happened, and I knew I had to make this decision to go all or nothing in order to give Adam the opportunity to come home, that was a life-changing moment for me. And it sucked that the way that it happened. And I was really mad for a long time that that's what had to happen to wake me up. But that's my story. And I'll never let anyone take that away from me or make me feel like I'm doing it in a bad way, right? So that was her own insecurities for her to attack me and say that, because she's just not willing to change whatever it is in her life that's holding her back. So for any of you that are struggling when it comes to sharing a story or worrying about what someone's going to say, that's not going to build your business. It's not going to further your life. It's not going to grow you. It's not going to stretch you. It's going to keep you exactly where you are, comfortable, and afraid to share because of what other people think. So you just don't care about it, honestly. It's easier said than done, but don't let other people hold you back from whatever it is that you have to share. And don't be afraid to come out there and have a little bit of thick skin and say, hey, this post isn't going to be popular, but don't get it twisted. Just because you see me hustling and working my business doesn't mean I don't like to snuggle my kids on the couch and be a present parent. Like, it's easy for people to judge, but this is what I do and I do it for them. So whatever it is that you think people are judging you about or holding you back, it's okay to voice that and speak whatever it is that you want to share that's on your heart, but then move on. Don't fester on it for a long time. Don't make your post all week about it. Just move on, because if you don't, you let them win.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I just saw Jackie got a question. How many times do you recommend going live each week? How much is too much? Do you plan what your lives will be? Meaning, do you plan your topics or address objections live, or share tips or stuff completely unrelated to fitness, or mix of it all? What topics do you get the best response from? I go live all the time, literally all the time. This week has been bad because I'm losing my voice, so I'm trying to save it for Coach Camp. I actually even feel like going tonight. And that's because I've been doing a lot of coach calls. But I go live as much as I can. Most of my lives are while I'm doing my makeup, right? Because I don't have super amount of time in the day with Nora. So I just do my makeup while I'm talking to people. And it's honestly whatever is on my heart. So sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're uplifting, sometimes they're tough love, sometimes it's a recipe that I want to share with people. One of my most popular lives was me being sarcastic and acting like I didn't know how to lose weight, and I was eating a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich that got like 450,000 views within a couple weeks because it was just dumb and funny. So some of my like most unplanned Facebook lives are my most popular, but I do occasionally sit down and say, it's a brain dump. I talk about brain dumps all the time, but occasionally if I'm stuck, I need to do a brain dump. And whatever it is that comes to my mind while I'm writing on this paper, I'm like, I want to tell that Facebook Live story. I'm going to go live about that. Just tonight, I decided that tomorrow I know what my Facebook Live is going to be. And it's because Jonah's birthday is coming up on Valentine's Day. He's my middle child. And I feel so bad for him because he is truly a middle child. Today he said to me, he goes, Mom, I know you're going to be really upset with me and disappointed in me for saying this. He said, but I kind of honestly feel like sometimes, like, my life sucks on certain parts. And I said, Jonah, you're 6. How could your life suck? He said, because I'm the middle child. My birthday was born on Valentine's Day, which means I have to share my birthday with Noah because you make a big deal out of every holiday. So it's like I don't even get my own special day. And I was like, you know what? You're right, Jonah. So I'm going to make his birthday the most obnoxious thing this kid has ever seen in his entire life. I'm going to fill his entire room with so many balloons he can't walk in the morning. I'm going to silly string him. I'm going to have this obnoxious thing at the table because I was a middle child. And middle child syndrome sucks, but it's a real thing. And Jonah has it full force right now. Like everything is like his life sucks and he's 6 and it's real to him right now. So that's what I'm going to go live about. And as Jonah's birthday unfolds, I'm going to go live about him waking up in the morning and just his reaction and all of that jazz. So it's not going to be anything like aha, awesome, crazy moments, but I do find that people love following our life the most. If you go to my Instagram, I sign up so many people from Instagram thanks to my 2-year-old. It has nothing to do with me. My Instagram is literally Nora. That is all it is. If I post something about myself, people don't like it. If I post something about Nora, oh, all of a sudden I'm getting all these DMs. They're like, she's so cute. How do you get her to eat so many peppers? By the way, when's your next challenge group coming up? And I'm like, thank you, Nora. Like, you're just so awesome. So it's whatever works for you. But you'll know what works for you the more you share. So the more you post, you'll notice, oh, people love my daughter. Oh, people for some reason don't think my son's that cute. Like whatever it may be, you'll know what people want to see from you just the more you go. So take note of it. I will do, like back in the day, I used to do like a social media scrub, and I would go throughout my posts throughout the last week. And if something at the time didn't get more than like 10 likes, I'd delete it. And if something got 25, I'd keep it. So when a new person came to my social media page, they just thought that I was really popular, but I was tricking them because I wasn't. So it's you just got to look. You got to look and see what people love. But I hate when people feel like they have to have an exact plan, where they're like, Monday through Saturday, this is what I'm going to talk about at this time. That's emerald personalities. But I feel like you have to be a little bit of a sapphire when it comes to social media, and just have fun with it and be spur of the moment and just see what people will like from you. Sorry, I just keep coughing because my voice is like going raspy.
So let me ask you this. So what would you say for Facebook, which is, you know, basically what you're talking about in general is like everyone has to have that one thing and live and is your thing, right? So what does your funnel look like as far as like you're funneling everybody in, you're gaining traction, you're building relationship, all of that from your lives? Are you then, like you were kind of explaining your call to action, or it's not really a call to action, but a challenge for them to, you know, that hard question that you ask them to think about their life. Would you say that you're going from like a live to a free group, and within that process somewhere you're doing one-to-one direct DM invites, as well as sprinkling call to action, challenge group, or business invites?
I would say my most two popular ways that get people in the door is call to actions from my live. So when I have a specific call to action with my live, it's my tough love, Tarah. It's very direct. So it'll be a live where I'm like, listen up. I know you guys have been hearing me talk about the last couple of weeks, you know, what is your purpose in life? What is it that you're struggling with? What are your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, whatever it may be? Let me get real with you. If you're not changing anything today, you're not growing, and you're going to stay the same. In 6 months from now, you're going to come onto one of my live videos and nothing's going to change with your life. And so I'm opening a free group. It starts in 2 weeks. I need you to DM me right now and tell me if you're in. And I don't want you to play with me. I don't want you to mess around. I want people that are 100% in, that are okay with tough love, that are okay with asking themselves hard questions because you genuinely want to change your life. So I want you to message me right now. Like literally right now, I want to see my inbox moving. Message me right now. And so it's a very intense call to action. And while I will be on live, I will see on my desktop, my inbox, just going like this. People messaging me are like, oh my God, girl, I'm on your Facebook Live right now. I need to change so badly in my life. I wake up every single day. I hate going to my job. Conversation starts, right? So then I know what questions to ask them. Like, all right, tell me what you don't like about your job. Whatever they say, right? Okay, tell me about your health and fitness on a scale of 1 to 10. It's like one of my most favorite questions. Everything is a scale of 1 to 10. And I'm like, all right, tell me about your nutrition on a scale of 1 to 10 in the last 24 hours. What did it look like? Kid you not, every single person 9 out of 10 times says, well, the last 24 hours was really bad. And yesterday I went to Five Guys. I'm like, all right, tell me the last 3 days. On a scale of 1 to 10, the last 3 days, what does your nutrition look like? Like, well, it's actually a really bad week that you've asked me this. And so it's like, it's always the same thing. I'm like, all right. Tell me the last 30 days on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your nutrition look like? Just be honest with me. Do you need my help or not? And they're like, okay, yeah, it's been bad. It's like a 4. I'm like, all right, give me an example. Give me a rundown. What have you ate so far today? I have them type of what they ate. And I'm like, girl, I can totally help you. I can totally see where we need to tweak some things. So that's where it starts, is it's just on a Facebook Live, I need you to DM me right now. Or
what's your free group though? Is your free group like a fitness group, a clean eating group, a fitness group, or is it just like how your lives are? Is it more about like lifestyle?
Are like the most basic things ever that we think everyone knows, but they don't. We start with water. Literally the first week, that's all we focus on. How much water are you drinking? Are you drinking half your body weight? Let's start there. And each day it's like, show me what you put in your water today. This is how I like to flavor infuse my water. And then I do the fruit tip. And then I show the ice cube tip the next day, like the trays where you can put fruit or essential oils into your ice cube trays. Like everything the first week is about water. And then it's very similar to 2B mindset, which obviously I can't talk too much about that because you sign like stupid contracts and stuff. But I would tell you 2B mindset's really awesome. I'm almost down 20 pounds from it. I've only worked out like 3 times with Core to Force. So it's all been nutrition-based, mindset-based. But that's what my free groups, believe it or not, have looked like. I just wasn't applying it always to my own life. So it's water first, mentality next, right? Are you mindfully putting things into your body, or are you emotionally eating? Let's get that under control. The next time you want to emotionally grab a pint of ice cream, I want you to come in this group and walk us through the process of why you almost did that. And we're going to tell you why it's not worth it. So it's that accountability piece of their food next. And then we're talking about their goals, right? I want to see a pair of pants or an outfit that you've been wanting to wear, post it. We're going to work towards trying to get you in that outfit and just feeling better. And then I make them do something that they haven't done, which requires no purchase necessary, but go on a fast walk, go take your dog on a walk, go do a fun workout with your kids. There's a couple YouTube videos that I found that are like moms with their kids, and I'll post it. And then I'll be like, if you have a kid, do this workout today with them, and then post your selfie of the 2 of you afterwards. So it's just free call to action stuff that's getting them moving, that's getting them thinking about their lives. One of my other most popular free groups I have is talking about their finances, and I'm teaching them how to create a family budget. So many people don't know how to budget, and I'm not kidding you, there are so many people in this world that are living in debt right now, and they don't know how to get out of it. They literally feel like there's no other option. And so I help them start where they stand, because everyone can get out of debt with where they stand right now. And I help them do the Dave Ramsey system. And then eventually, once they get out of debt, where do you think they're putting their money as soon as they have it to invest somewhere in themselves? Not me, Beachbody Challenge Pod. So they're coming back to me because I already helped their family for free with so much. And now they're being more financially responsible. And now they want to coach. Or if they say, okay, I've got this debt thing under control, I just want to attack it faster. Do you have any tips? Oh, I know this coaching thing, right? And so I'll start talking to them about Beachbody coaching. So I would say my financial group is my other like biggest group. And then my last one would be just the holistic tips. Teaching people who have ADHD. I suffer from ADD, always have my entire life. I got off meds when I was 16. And I just talk about how I holistically combat that for myself and Noah, because he has ADD as well. And he goes through IEP classes at school. So that's a niche market. Parents who have kids in IEP or who have ADD, they have a million questions. If they're struggling with their kid, they come to me because they're like, oh my gosh, Noah's not medicated, you're not medicated, you built this business, how do you do it, right? So I just give them my tips with that. And then naturally the conversation evolves into Shakeology or Daily Sunshine, because I give my kids Daily Sunshine every single day. I drink Shakeology every single day, and I'm a firm believer in so many of the properties and benefits that it has that I think that helps with ADD and just energy. So that's where a lot of my customers will come from that. So those are my main ones that I stick with. I don't really veer too far from that, but it's always like I always have somewhere to put them based upon what I feel they need from me in my life. So if I'm going live to talk about money or to talk about savings, I just made a post not too long ago how I saved our family over $300 by digital coupons, and then I would be happy to teach people how to do it. Huge group. And I put all these people in it. And then what do you think my call to action was when they were like, oh my gosh, I love saving money. I wish I knew how to do grocery shopping better. I teach them how to do grocery shopping better. And I'm like, girlfriend, now that you know how to grocery shop, why don't you come into my challenge group, and I'll like put you through a meal plan and a prep, and you can work out with us each week and you can get results. And they're like, I'm game. So it's just always that premise of like, what are you teaching people for free? What are you giving them value to where they're grateful for you? They're thankful. And they almost keep thinking like, how do I repay you? Like I get so many people that say, how much are you an hour? What do you charge? And I'm like, I don't charge you anything to teach you how to create a budget. That's free. Like I enjoy doing that. I love seeing people say that their family got out of debt, but they feel like they want to pay you something. So I say, why don't you just crush this challenge group instead? You're going to get your own product. Sure, I'm going to make $30 off of it. Not that big of a deal. I want you to do this for you. So I'm also not shy with telling people how much commission I'm making from Beachbody. And so many of them have said, I don't feel like that's enough. I feel like you've given me so much that I feel like I need to pay you more. And I'm like, no, you know how you can repay me? Crush this for yourself. Get good results, become a coach, and help other people and pay it forward. So I really created that team culture of pearls, I guess, in a way where they really do just want to pay it forward because they're so thankful for what I've poured into them. And then they do that very well. They pour into other people very well as almost kind of a pay it forward system. do I have a script for that finance free group that you can share? It's not so much a script, it's a challenge group template. I talked about it on a national wake up call, I think in 2012 or 2013. So that template's still out there and I can give you that. It's just like a premise of the Dave Ramsey group. But to be totally transparent and honest with you, I teach the same principles as Dave Ramsey. So if you've ever read his Total Money Makeover or his Financial Peace University, same principles that I'm teaching people. It's just my own flair with my personality.
Mm-hmm. And is that more of a are these more of a community, Tarah? Meaning like they're not 5 days, they're just like an ongoing free community?
Always revolving, yeah. So I have my lifers in there that like, they work for me and I don't even pay them. Like when people come in and they have a question, they're like, oh my gosh, let me teach you what we do. And so I just have rules where I say, don't have malicious intentions. Don't have intentions to try to form a relationship with this person to take them to your other MLM or I'm going to kick you out.
Right.
Like these groups are about money. These groups are about food. These groups are about fitness and water. So people respect me. I mean, and I think people will respect anyone that they follow on social media that have good, true intentions. And you just have to let your intentions be known and your expectations of this is what you can expect from me. This is what I expect from you. No, I'm not going to do a 2-hour free consultation call with you. What you get from me free out of this group is what you get. If you want more, join one of my paid challenge groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Really good. Anybody else? Any final questions for Tarah?
I think I saw Sarah go on mute. Did you have a question, Sarah?
Can you hear me?
I can.
You can? Okay. So I know that you say you like add your free value in a group.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be would it be hurting you if you did it like publicly, like on your Facebook page and like you were just known as like the person that always gives like free tips and tricks, like people just know you for that? Or do you think it's like more beneficial to like have them in like a set group?
I think there's specific things that are good to have in a set group where people know that they can gain that from you, but in a private group. I think with public tips and tricks and stuff 24/7 where there's not that private group, again, it goes back to people share more for whatever reason when they see that your group is secret or they see that it's closed. They'll open up and they'll have a conversation with you. Whereas, for example, if I just constantly went public with my free tips on financial stuff, it would be a one-way conversation. There would not be people chiming in and having a two-way conversation with me because maybe they don't want their friends and family to see that they're $5,000 in credit card debt. Like they feel that sense of security when you add them to that private group, even though in theory, like in some of my finance groups, there's like thousands of people, like it's by no means private, but to them, it is, because when they join, they can see how many friends in common are in this group or, whatever. So I think for some things, for sure. I think a lot of people know when they follow me that when I go live with certain recipes, they know I'm going to give it to them, unless it's my recent elderberry recipe, but that's because of a bad apple. But they just know they're gonna get something for free from me, right? And I will just be very open with people. If there's something they ask of me that I can give, I give it, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. But I mean, aside from that, I would keep your groups private. It's what they can get from you, right? Every Beachbody coach has to ask themselves, what is something different and unique that they can get from me that they're not going to get from Kristina Sullins, that they're not going to get from Amy Silverman, that they're not going to get from Lisa Keeler, like whatever. Oh my gosh, I just called her Keeler. I haven't called her Lisa Keeler. Whoa.
She's still on my phone like that.
But whatever it is that they're going to get from you, right? They should know what it is that they're going to get from you because they follow you on social media. So people expect those things from me. If I were to all of a sudden pretend like I'm Amy Silverman, I couldn't pull off posting naked with 2 leaves covering my private parts like Amy. Like it just wouldn't go over the same way as it goes over for her. They'd be like, whoa, Tara's got off the deep end. So it's, that works for Amy. She gets like thousands of likes when she does that. So it's like whatever your niche is, people should know you for that. And then it's and it should come natural for you because it's authentically yourself. You're not trying to be anybody else but you. And so it shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be this like big hoopla thing. It's just you. And you wake up every day and that's all you have to be is yourself. So definitely recommend having those private things, but giving some of those free things as you go along never hurts.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jackie, so I was looking at your page and noticed you asked people to drop their January birthdays below. Curious, what did you do with that? So I wear multiple hats. I think that that's no secret for people. I am extremely passionate about Save a Warrior, which is the nonprofit that Uncle Carl, who's not really my uncle, he's the CEO of our company. I just call him Uncle Carl, always have. He decided to partner with SAW, and SAW is just a nonprofit that's near and dear to my heart. My husband went through it when he was struggling really bad with post-traumatic stress. It was not, to be honest with you, when he was struggling with that, that was the only time in my life that I didn't share openly what we were going through while we were going through it. And it was very hard for me during my business because I felt as if though I needed to protect my husband. I didn't want people to know what he was going through because he was ashamed of it. And it was just this awful thing. He was on like 22 medications. He wasn't getting out of bed till 4, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was pressure and it was hard. And it's one of those things that like, I felt like the world got lifted off of my shoulders when he decided to go live about it and he decided to talk about it and he decided to share it. And all of a sudden it just opened up this world for me where I was like, oh my gosh, I can help so many women whose husbands go through post-traumatic stress because I finally know what it's like and how to help them. And I feel for people who don't share their stories, and that's how they always feel. Because I literally felt like I was trapped. I felt like I was in a dungeon. My life felt dark. I felt like a fraud because I was putting on a smile every day when I was not happy. And so I encourage people not to live a life like that where you have to be in darkness or you have to feel like sad and afraid or whatever. But I'm super passionate about SAW for what it's done for my husband. He's a completely different man. I feel like I have my husband back and more. He's happier before he even joined the military. It's just crazy. And so I helped him fundraise for SAW last year. Him and I were able to bring in, because of Beachbody, over $500,000 for Save a Warrior, which is a nonprofit that helps veterans with post-traumatic stress. So I asked people to drop their birthdays below so I could message them and ask them if they would be willing to create an event page to pledge their birthday money to Save a Warrior. So I'm doing that every single month because my husband's position got moved to fundraising for this year until the Warrior Village is built, which should be closed sometime in December. And hopefully Carl's coming to the ribbon ceremony cutting for that. So that's the whole birthday thing, is I'm asking people. It has nothing to do with Beachbody. It's just my way of kind of trying to give back and help him with what he does on that side. So yeah, I wish I could tell you it was something cool with Beachbody, but it's not.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing too, guys, is make sure make sure you find things outside of Beachbody that give you passion and that give you joy. Because there was a point in my life where I just got sucked into Beachbody where it was like 100% Beachbody. That's all I did. And it kind of got me to this point in my business where I didn't resent it. I just didn't have as much joy with it because I legitimately was like, this is my job. Like, I have to do this all the time. And like, that's all I was doing. And so when I forced myself to do other things that I loved and got me excited about life and giving back, I donate a lot of my time to NC4K, which is a nonprofit locally here in Columbus with kids that have cancer. And I've become really good friends with this little girl named Jillian, whose cancer just came back for the second time. And so the fact that I was able to like set goals for myself in Beachbody and tell people unapologetically, look, I hustle so I can be able to drop $500 on Cavaliers gear because my girl Jillian loves the Cavs and she's back in the hospital and that's going to put a smile on her face. And so you better believe that's what I'm going to go do. And so I share that with people unapologetically, not worrying about like, oh, they're going to judge me because I'm mixing my business with cancer, like whatever it may be. Like, that's me. That's why I hustle. That's why I do what I do, because I want to be able to live this life to where I can give my time when I know my time is needed in other places. So make sure you're doing things for yourself too, that you love to do, that you love to give back to your community, and just don't get wrapped up in where you think 100% needs to be Beachbody. Make sure there's other things that are sprinkled in there that gives you joy and purpose in life as well.
Well, thank you so much. I think this was so awesome. It's such a common thread, and it is a it's going to be a common thread at camp, and I feel like it's been the common thread for the past 6 months, and that is exactly what you're talking about, as far as you just have to live your life out loud, and what's meaningful to you, what you love, what you're passionate about, the good and the bad, or at least what you want to share of that, and find people just like you and not compare yourself to others. And I feel like that's something we all need to work on. Like, I love what you said about write down what are your 3 stories that you will share, and figuring out, your niche or multiple of them. So thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for your time. And I cannot wait to see you in 5 days.
Can't wait. I'm afraid to my turbo pants.
Okay. I will see you. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, have a great night. Cheers.